Hey guys, this is IrieStarcraft and I'm back to cast another 2v2 match for you. This one will be on Stone Gulch and it's gonna be between LMntMaster, the red Terran player, and LMntDeath, the blue Zerg player. Their opponents are going to be Fishbulb, the teal Zerg, and Destructive, the purple Terran. So, I know you guys have seen Team LMnt. We've seen Death and Master play before. Usually Stallion is part of the mix, so I don't actually think I've seen any of these guys, any of these LMnt guys play in 2 versus 2s before. So it's a little bit different. They're obviously very good when it comes to massing early army and being effective in the 3v3 style play as far as what I've seen, so it should be interesting to just watch them in a 2 versus 2, which is a little bit more I'm trying to think of the right way to describe the difference between a 2v2 style and a 3v3 style. It's a little bit more laid back. If you think of between a solo, the difference between a 1v1 game and a 3v3 game, it's right about in the middle. It's not as heavily rush oriented as a 3v3 normally, yet it is more rush oriented than a 1v1. So we'll see. It looks like Death has gone for a 10 pool, and it does look like Master will be going for Hellions. Apparently Destructive, well aware of their usual build order. Fishbulb is just confirming that. We'll see if he decides to actually scout the refinery, or if he just chills here with the drone. At the same time, we've got Destructive building double barracks up front here with a supply depot to wall in. So he will be able to deny any kind of Hellion run by. We'll see if Fishbulb decides to get some Spinecrawler down here somewhere, a Spinecrawler or two, to help defend against the early pressure. But it looks like, if you read some of the chat there, which I glanced at, Destructive will be trying to go for Hellions himself. He's just going for 2 barracks first. So interesting. We'll see how that works out. And so Death now does have Zerglings on the field, and he is going to be sending them all the way over here and going to be starting to be aggressive. And Master, meanwhile, is throwing down his first factory here and getting some extra supply depots up top to deny. He's got this whole mineral line sort of walled in here, except for this bottom area. And actually Death is just going to be massing up his Zerglings here. He does have his speed just passing halfway completed, and Destructive meanwhile throwing down a bunker at the front. Very smart play right there. And this is going to be pretty impossible for the right team to break. So it's going to come down to the Zerg player. Will Fishbulb be able to hang on? Is what my prediction for how this game is going to play out is. Will Fishbulb be able to hang on and defend the Hellion Zergling onslaught? He's definitely got the right idea here with some roaches, and going to be using them to sort of wall off to prevent the run-bys and the Hellions from burning up all his drones. So he still does not have any Spinecrawlers, though. One Spinecrawler maybe in like this location right here could make a big difference for him. But it doesn't look like he's going to do that. Master is actually floating a barracks up front here, going to try and use that to create more of a choke. It looks like he does have 4 Hellions now on the field. He's got 3 more on the way, and has started his Infernal Pre-Igniter. Meanwhile, it looks like Destructive is finishing his second factory. He's actually opting to put the tech lab. He's constructing a tech lab on the first factory, and he is probably going to go ahead and build a reactor. Is he going to build a build? Is he going to build a reactor? Okay. It looks like the Hellions and Zerglings are finally on the way, and we're going to get some action in this game. Where are they going to go? What are they going to do? Zerg player Fishbulb is going to be in a lot of trouble right now, as the Hellions are starting to try and get by into these drones. It looks like they're just working on the roaches first. The roaches are going down very quickly. There are too many Zerglings. Fishbulb desperately needs help from Destructive, and these Marines may not be enough. to be able to save him. It looks like Destructive not too happy with the fact that Fishbulb had all his roaches out here in the middle instead of using them to defend the mineral lines. Fishbulb definitely has a point there. The roaches were caught trying to move up to this ramp. And he does have a bunch of more roaches that have popped out. However, no more drones. And these roaches are all going to get torched up. Blue Flame Hellions are finished. And just like that, it looks like the Zerg player Fishbulb is going to be out of this game. So now it is pretty much up to Destructive, the purple Terran player, to make something happen in this game. His Infernal Pre-Igniter is just now finished. Just now finished. So he may have a chance in this game yet. We will see. Because he does have a pretty strong defense here. And it looks like Fishbulb and Master are just going to go ahead and kill all of these bases. Or all of these buildings. And anything new? He actually, no, Destructive never bothered with the reactor. He just simply didn't have time to get that reactor right there. And now we do see Banshees and Viking. One Banshee, one Viking, and Cloaking Field on the way. And at the same time, Death is throwing down a Baneling Nest. So will we be seeing the Team LMT just chilling out here until that Baneling's Nest finishes? Most likely that is going to be the case. And once these Banelings get morphed in, we will see a Baneling bust attempt here. These Hellions might want to wait for the Banelings, though, as they actually are going to be able to kill the supply depot. And could they actually run through here? It may be a bad idea for them to try, as Destructive with a beautiful Hellion split right here, just lighting all of Master's Hellions up, and Death trying to run his Zerglings through only makes one Zergling through. Destructive completely annihilating that army from Team LMNT. Don't ask me why they decided to run in here before the Banelings were done. I couldn't tell you the answer to that question. But Destructive will be trying to make a counterattack with the Hellions. And it looks like he's going to be sharing control. He said something about Banshees are yours. And so Hellions are going to be running right into LMntDeath's mineral line. No defenses here. The Spine Crawler is not completed. All the drones are going to die, except for maybe a couple of them. And it looks like Destructive is going to leave this Banshee over here to harass that base. Meanwhile, sending all of these Hellions up into the Terran main. And looks like Master with a few Hellions is trying to make a stand here. It will be kind of close. He's got all his SCVs ran all the way back out of range from these Hellions, so the Hellions can't actually get in here. And it looks like Master, yeah, he is able to ward that attack off with some last-minute Hellions popping out. So a pretty close game, it turns out right now. As now with the cloak finished for Destructive on this Banshee, he's going to be able to take out this Queen. And it's a good thing, though, he got that Creep Tuner down. The Creep Tuner is actually going to die before that happens. Two Banshees in the base now are going to be able to finish off LMntDeath, it looks like. So I think there was a ping going off somewhere that I did not see. I wonder what that ping was for. I didn't even look over there. That was a noob move by me. But now forcing Master to throw down missile turrets to protect from all the Banshees. And so all of a sudden we're pretty much in a 1 versus 1 situation here. And I see that the Fishbulb has actually been controlling these Banshees. So Fishbulb is in charge of the air units, it looks like. And yeah, Destructive telling him, make sure the hatchery dies. We don't want him getting back in this game. Meanwhile, Destructive is going to continue building some Banshees, but he is getting a medevac now. It looks like he is going to be trying to do a Hellion drop here. And I'm not sure if that is going to work. He wants to get his Hellions back into this area behind the base, I think. Actually, maybe not. Maybe he's transitioning to Marine Marauder. The scan going off for Master is going to reveal nothing too fancy. I think he may have seen the barracks being thrown down here. No, that did not reveal that. And So actually, siege tanks now on the way, and siege tech and expansion coming out. So destructive definitely transferring into some more standard play. Going to be getting out most likely some marauders here and go for Hellion Marauders siege tank and really try to steamroll Master's base. And with the air superiority right now, with 3 Vikings, 4 Banshees, he should be able to harass all over the place. There are 3 Vikings now on the field for Master, and excuse me, 2 Vikings on the field here, and that is going to be enough to keep these air units out of his base. But he is really just contained right now, and the Hellions, it looks like, are going to try and make it their way across the map. Banshees obviously cannot keep up with them. And unfortunately, though, for those Hellions from Master, when they do arrive at this location, siege tanks will just blast them to bits. They are going to be flying around the top, maybe doing some scouting to see if there are any other bases up here.
Depleted.
The ping going off from Fishbulb, warning destructive the location of these Hellions. Hellions are going to be coming down in here. It looks like these Banshees are getting repaired, and the repairing SCVs may be about to explode here if the Hellions opt to attack from Master, but it looks like they're not going to attack. They're going to run back away, and Master is just up against it right now. He is actually going for a Thor. You see that Thor coming out. An interesting play there. He's already got 1 Thor out. So I think Master, it feels like all of a sudden he's worried about all these mass air units. So he's got this Thor, another Thor. He's got 4 Vikings out. Meanwhile, Destructive is just going to be pumping out more and more tanks, which are going to be and Marines here. It looks like he's getting Marines, and he's getting Stim Pack and Combat Shield. So Mass Marine, Siege Tank, and so this is going to be a beautiful tech switch. And Master's running, poking some Hellions in here to see what is the deal, and those are going to die very quickly. As you see, Destructive not too worried about the Thors, as it looks like he may be ready to try and make an attack here. He does have 5 siege tanks, a bunch of medevacs coming out, more medevacs on the way. And I like this, I like his ratio of producing structures here that Destructive has. He has 4 barracks, 2 factories, 2 starports. He doesn't need, or he didn't need a reactor here earlier, so he went ahead and got another tech lab, extra siege tanks. Doesn't need the reactor on this one necessarily. And I think once this last round of units comes out, Destructive is going to make a push. I hope he is, because it's starting to sort of drag on here, as there hasn't been much action, as the Terran players are just turtling. And now there are actually 4 Thors on the field for Master. So the more of these Thors that come out, I mean, they are becoming more powerful. Obviously, the more Thors you can get together, the better. However, he's going to need a bunch of SCVs to try and repair these Thors. It looks like Master's trying to do some harassment with these Vikings. He may actually even land these and try and kill that SCV. Destructive's just going to go ahead and cancel that. No big deal there, because I think he is planning on ending the game with this push. We will see. Though it should be pretty close. It's going to come down to the siege tanks. The Hellions are going to try and soften up some of these Hellions first, or just scouting what's the deal. And the siege tanks, now the siege mode is starting to happen for Destructive. Great leapfrogging going on right now. These 2 siege tanks need to get into siege mode. And now Stim going off on the Marines, pushing into the Thors. Way too much to handle. Yeah, these Thors, I thought that was going to be a lot closer than it was. It was not even close at all. The stimmed up Marines just completely steamrolling the Thors. And that is going to be a GG. Actually, there was no GG, but that is going to be game. So, Destructive coming back after Fishbulb getting completely annihilated there at the beginning of this game, getting his roaches caught out of position, and able to come back, showing the power of Terran. And if you can survive the Zergling And the Zergling and Hellion rush at the beginning, you definitely have the advantage. A great play in the Banshees and preemptively getting the extra Vikings to protect the Banshees. And then on top of that, the major mistake to me in this game was clearly the fact that the Baneling's nest for Death was just finishing, and yet still they tried to attack before he could get any Banelings out. So I feel like if Death had gotten 6 Banelings or something, he could have led with the Banelings and really maybe put the herd on destructive, and this would be an entirely different game. But nonetheless, that is going to do it for me. This is IrieStarcraft, and peace out.